Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Accent Training Podcast. My name is Pat. I'm your personal American accent coach. And today I'm going to talk about something that you might disagree with. But hear what I've got to say, because if we're going to have a debate here, then it's important that you know both sides of the story. I don't like the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, as an accent training tool. I don't like it. I don't think it's an accent training tool. I think it wastes a lot of time and it confuses it unnecessarily. Yes, it's valuable for knowing the exact pronunciation of something. Absolutely, the symbols are going to show you exactly what something sounds like when an American says it. But American accent development isn't just about knowledge here. You can't just know the symbol and therefore know how to make the sound. If you want to learn about the American accent and you want to learn about the sounds, then the IPA is a very helpful tool. If you want to learn about phonetics and phonology and all that type of stuff, then by all means, check out the IPA. Study it until your eyes are sore, but it will do very little to develop your pronunciation or accent. You'll have a great understanding about the pronunciation of the American accent. You'll know what it's all about, but you will not have trained your muscles to project your voice and articulate sound in a way that's familiar to American ears. You just won't have it. Now, that is the experience of people who rely on the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, to learn the American accent. That's a terrible experience. I don't want to put anybody through that. And so if you want to train the American accent, let's consider what training would look like here. Suppose when you played soccer as a kid and you had a coach, a trainer. What did the coach do at first? Did they say, here's a ball, you're going to be a forward, here's a ball, you're playing defense, let's get to it? Of course not. They made you start running around the field, right? You had to do like 10 laps and then probably a bunch of push-ups. And then they'd teach you how to play. They had to condition you to be an effective soccer player. So before they could show you how to kick the ball properly, they had to train your muscles to move the right way. Now, American accent training happens the exact same way. It's just instead of training for a soccer match, you're training for a conference call or a team meeting. It means that we start creating new habits. Now, with soccer, you needed new habits of staying in shape. You had to run more frequently. You had to become more active. If you play soccer as a teenager, as an adult, you know that you got to hit the gym and stay in shape, or else these guys are going to run circles around you. And so now you've got a habit around being a soccer player. Now, American accent training doesn't begin with strength conditioning, but more a focused awareness of your breath and what your mouth is doing when you're speaking. Now, those are things you probably don't think about too much, right? Most people don't really focus on their breath. They just let it come in and go out. And you don't really focus on your mouth muscles when you're speaking either, do you? You just kind of trust that your mouth knows what to do. And it does. for your native language. And so you can have all of the knowledge about English, the vocabulary, the grammar, you can know all of the phonetic symbols, but if your mouth doesn't know how to move the way that Americans' mouths move, then you're kind of missing the main piece of the puzzle here. However, if you have a habit of controlling the flow of your air to project your voice clearly for American ears, and if you condition your mouth muscles to make the movements that produce the sounds that Americans listen for, you'll be ready to use your American accent after conditioning occurs. Now me, I played soccer when I was a kid, but in high school, I played rugby. I have strong legs, so I could run fast. My coaches always told me I was a fast runner, and I really appreciate the strategy of rugby. Now, I'd go to rugby practice, I'd do the conditioning that my coach would give, we'd run all day, and we'd do all these steps in order to get used to moving on the field. We'd play a little touch rugby, we'd work on passing the ball properly, all good things that we'd work on. And then I'd go home and not really practice anything that I had been conditioned to do. And so I wasn't a very good rugby player. I was just a guy that could run fast on the team and understood the strategies, but I didn't actually develop properly the muscle memory for it. I wasn't good at passing. I wasn't good at getting around people. I'd get tackled a lot, and I was constantly being thrown to the ground. And a buddy of mine, whose name I'm not going to say, but his name is Robbie, and he's a naturally skilled athlete. And he would go home and he would watch rugby videos on YouTube so that he could learn his position better. He would keep working out. He'd go to a nearby school and practice kicking the ball, all on his own, just because he wanted to be good at it. When he would play a game, he was the kind of guy that would just bull right through people. He had speed, he had strength, and he was an intelligent and disciplined athlete. Now, what we can take away from that situation is that showing up to practice is not enough for the big game. Showing up to practice might be enough to play in the big game, but you're not gonna do very well. Just like the difference between accent training and accent learning. When you learn about the American accent, you read, you memorize some information, and you're an expert. Congratulations. Here's your master's degree. When you train the American accent, you practice with a coach, and then you reinforce it every single day so that you're ready for the big game. Now, that big game just depends on what your goals are, right? Could be a Zoom call, could be a meeting with the board of directors, could be a sales call, or you could just be negotiating what you're going to have for dinner with your husband or wife. The more that you condition your English, the correct projection and the correct movements for that situation, the better chance that you'll have of succeeding. Now, these are the main things that I wanted to talk about today. That's why this isn't the accent learning podcast. That's why I don't say, my name is Pat, I'm your American accent teacher, because I don't consider myself a teacher. I consider myself a coach. I'm not just teaching you lessons, but I'm here to condition you, and I'm here to hold you accountable for reaching your goals of expressing yourself in English just as clearly and confidently as you do in your native language. Have a good one.